Hello.
Hello.
Hello. I am Don
I'm Luke.
I'm Cody.
of Cody fame.
Yeah, I guess I'm mentioned enough.
Of Donoram fame.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Yes, we're here to talk about basements. And, well, at the beginning of time, God cursed man for failing to adhere to the rules of Rick Santorum with tornadoes. Tornadoes. And in response, we burrowed into the earth, creating basements. And later, basements turned out to be really good places to play multiplayer games. And just, or hang out and watch, generally the case, hang out and watch somebody else play a single-player game until you got bored, left, and came back.
And watch some more.
Yeah, there was a few of those, although sometimes we'd trade off and take shifts an hour at a time or so, which is why we had like 10 different save files going at any one time.
KOTOR release weekend. Yes, I remember.
Yeah, exactly.
We watched the beginning cutscene like 10 times.
A collective 30 hours in, we weren't even off Terrace yet. That's the
Yeah, I think that Al Gore created the internet because he knew that basements were killing the economy because only one friend needed to buy a game.
Yeah.
Wow. See,
And then the rest of us would just go to that friend's house and play it.
Even after the internet, that's still what happened. With
because freedom is an idea. You can't kill an idea. We always just go back to the basement and we won't leave until we're done, which we never are. Yeah, that's just the LAN party before. It's whatever kids are doing nowadays before kids.
oh yeah, I said. Say nowadays, aren't they just getting on a headset and just cussing at each other?
Yeah, but they're not in the same room. They're not in punching distance.
Oh
It's
yeah,
not the
that's
same.
why the headset's needed. You got to be able to yell at them from your living room.
You're never going to see your friend's arm get broken right in front of you because they get pissed off at each other.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that was such a good night. I can't remember what movie we watched before that.
I just remember something about the soup making him sick or something.
Wait, wasn't that some weird alien movie where some guy basically started going on a killing spree because they fed him some kind of weird soup?
You fed me soup.
I don't remember. It was a sci-fi
Okay,
movie.
so we were in 5th grade. This would have been around the turn of the millennium. We'll have to find out. We'll have to find the quotable quotes.
Oh,
You
yeah.
fed me soup.
Yes.
That's the thing about your basement, Cody. It had a television.
It had multiple televisions. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a hell
yes.
of a big TV for back in the day.
yeah.
I have no earthly idea how that got in there.
I
They
don't
just
either.
Plop it down in the basement and build a house around it.
Well, the weird part was I just came home from school one day and it was there. I didn't know we were getting it. I don't know if my dad knew we were getting it, but it happened. And it was there.
And there it will stay.
Yeah. And then a surround sound system followed afterward. We already had a pool table on the other half of the basement.
Oh, yeah.
It's a good bed.
We had yeah, right. So we had a microwave and refrigerator next to the washer and dryer in that little utility room there, and then a full bathroom with shower and everything down there too. So there was no reason to leave.
The compound, yeah.
Yeah, it was self-contained.
Yeah.
I mean, there was multiple TVs. Like, people weren't doing what you want in one room. You just walked to the next one, and
Screw you guys! I'm walking 5 feet to the other TV.
It's pretty much what happened.
Yeah.
Eventually,
We did have some drama. I mean, there were Bo threw down the gauntlet over Smash Brothers over Halo.
Yep.
Like he couldn't just play Smash Brothers in the other TV. No, it has to be in Yankeetown.
Right now, well, we'll accept his apology now since he's jumped fully on board with Halo. Yeah.
Oh man, I
Set it
remember.
back years, really.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I still remember that. There was also the turret meltdown. I remember.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember where that started. I
Oh.
know it was misspelled in some game.
It
Torrent.
was
Torrent.
It was,
Torrent.
but it was after all the corrections. All of us had issued that. I think it was Ryan who kept saying "turrent" on it, just with that N.
There's no N.
And just, one day you'd had enough, and it was just fucking over.
I was on the other TV too.
Yeah,
It was, yeah. We had man. How many Xboxes did we have? Because we had people bringing in other TVs.
we did.
Did we have 16 people playing?
Yeah.
We did. Yeah.
It was the greatest night of my life up
It was,
until
That
other
really
points.
is a feat without the internet, getting all the connections together.
It was like reverse looting with kids
Well,
breaking into a house with televisions.
To get it to where the Ethernet cords were long enough, we had to plug in the router in the laundry room, and then the wires ran out, sat on the floor, and that way
There was like people sitting on the
cords-
stairs just so we had room for people to sit and watch.
Oh yeah, that was yeah. So I mean, that's what happened before we got decent internet.
That
Well-
happened to you?
Yeah, right. Well, it only happened like 10 years after I left the
Yeah,
house.
yeah, that's the case. Yeah.
You can get decent internet in Tell City now.
Yeah, except Dad refused to switch from dial-up until like
I mean-
2014.
Oh, he switched.
Oh, he did?
He did.
Wow.
Because he had to.
They
Man,
didn't
it
sell it
was-
anymore.
Man, so much history happens
It
when
was
you're not
actually
looking.
more expensive for him to keep dial-up. And that's what happened.
Yeah. Man, I remember my first interaction with the internet was in your basement. My very first.
Yeah.
Because schools didn't do it.
Yeah.
At least not the ones we were going to. Still
Yeah.
ran on like old-ass Apple IIs,
Yeah, they threw us in the computer lab. We just played Pie Man.
right? We were still using floppy disks in the early 2000s.
Yeah. And I remember the very first thing I saw on the internet was an advert for Warhammer 3.
Really?
Yeah. Born a slave. Buffering.
Yeah, right.
Destined to buffering. Lead. That and you introduced me to Something Awful, which is the only website I will ever visit because I found my home 20 years ago.
Yeah, and that's a big thank you to Bo for introducing me to that one too.
Yeah,
That,
it's like it's changed so much over the years. Mostly dead, like me, so it works. Yeah.
Yep.
I remember trying to play. I think we played this mostly at StarCraft
Yeah.
on the Battle Network.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well, we had to play it at Adams
Yeah.
because he actually had an internet connection that wasn't dial-up. So yeah.
Yeah,
that
what
was-
wizardry was that? I'm playing with some kid who's not in your basement.
Wait,
I don't know
right.
that kid exists.
No.
But
But it could be
it-
a computer for all I know.
But if anything was on console though, that's when everybody just kind of filled back in and we jumped into it from there. I'm trying to think. Like, I mean, there were so many games.
Yeah, I don't remember. I moved
Oh my God, Perfect Dark.
Perfect Dark was a good one.
GoldenEye. Like, you introduced me to GoldenEye. I had no idea the N64 existed. So when you're talking about GoldenEye, I was expecting something a 2D side scroller.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
And then you like, wow, it's like I'm really here shooting people in the dick.
all of the delayed time ragdoll physics they tried to put into, like where the explosion happens, they stand there for a second, then they get flung with the force of like at least a couple G's.
Yeah, GoldenEye. That's like everyone knows the odd job rule,
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
but that's
Well,
not enforceable now because they're not in the basement with you.
No.
I was
can't-
was gonna say
You can't
that.
walk 5 feet and punch them.
It also applied to Elvis in Perfect Dark, which I could say there's at least one person in this house right now who did not follow that rule.
At least Elvis had a big head, though.
Yeah,
I
but you
mean-
could change his head out.
You
True,
could.
true.
You can give him a small head.
Yeah, the whole mix and match crap they did on that really put the screws to you.
But yeah, like I remember like 4th and 5th grade birthday parties were my introductions to the N64 and the PlayStation.
Yeah.
Neither
Yeah.
of which I knew existed, because in the distant barren wastelands of Ferdinand, they didn't
See,
have it.
That was the introduction to Pokemon, too.
Oh God, yes.
Yeah, it was. The
I remember there being some really acidic fights over supplements in competitive Pokemon.
yeah.
The
Performance enhancing drugs.
yes, it was really scandalous. There was some there was some baseball player who was on steroids at the time.
Oh, yeah. That was the
Was
Sammy
it
Sosa.
Jose
and-
Canseco.
Yeah.
His book and all that good
All
stuff.
of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically everybody.
Yeah,
You know,
And Bulbasaur was popping iron.
anybody who got close to a home run record became suspect. very fast.
Yeah, I blame Team Rocket personally.
Oh, of course.
They struck again.
Pokemon was my introduction to anime, which actually no, there was something on the Sci-Fi Channel that played anime. But then Bo brought in like the dirty VHS tapes that are just
Yep.
like marked with tape, and then that was my introduction to anime.
Right.
And like a good Catholic, I hid in the bathroom
Right.
because I was not prepared for that.
Oh God, yeah. Back in the days of Toonami and all that crap after school,
yeah.
yeah. Or what was it, like WB or something would show Dragon Ball Z in like Saturday mornings, like because that's how
Yeah.
Bo introduced me to anime. It was just like, watch this, and then
Can you imagine having to wait through commercial breaks and then week-long hiatuses for the Frieza fight?
Oh yeah.
Because we did. I don't remember it.
right,
What's going to happen?
right, just like
God
maybe
damn it! He's just screaming this whole episode. What's gonna happen?
maybe they'll throw a punch this episode. Nope, sorry. Next time on Dragon Ball Z. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And Xbox. When did Xbox come out?
Was it 2002, 2000?
Close. I don't know.
Ish, somewhere around there.
Yeah, we were
They-
getting into high school.
They jumped into the market late. The Dreamcast had already come and gone. Well,
With-
it might have been on its way out around that.
Completely unremarked in our neck of the woods.
Yeah, like the PlayStation 2 was king at that time because
Oh, by
I
far.
mean,
Oh, yeah.
they could take so many different gambles on it. Of course, we had the GameCube as well.
Mm-hmm.
But PlayStation 2 was when all those weird ass games, like, or not even weird, but just a marked departure from the stuff that was popular would start coming out, and those were just as fun.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking of things like the Bouncer.
Oh yeah.
That was huge for us.
Yeah, that led to
Like, there was no algorithm. Like this, there was no internet telling us what to buy.
Mhm.
There were
Yeah.
magazines that would tell us what we could buy, but then that would never actually come to us. So we had to find it. When we don't find the things we were looking for, we find the Bouncer, which
And-
was what we needed.
with, and this brings up an interesting point too. Anybody who loves Donoram and loves Don's playthrough of Raise as Hell, that started in the basement.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. The old man.
We Raise as Hell when we went to a game. Was it GameStop just randomly?
We were
one time?
we were on Spring. Yeah.
Yes, it was. It was
That's-
yes.
yeah, yeah.
It was the Walmart $5. I knew it was only $5.
Yeah.
That's right.
We were on spring break and we were bored out of our minds. That same week, we were in your basement, like, man, like the magic is gone. What do we do now that we're old? So we went to Wendy's at the Wendy's drive-through at 2 a.m. and asked trivia questions like, "Hey, can we help you? Yeah, can you tell me how many toes a cat has?" And then when we got yelled at by the manager, we backed out and let somebody else pull up through.
They
So
were
like-
surprisingly mad about that.
right.
like, oh.
All
So
that business we're disrupting at 2 a.m.
so then we went to Walmart and we found a $5 game called Races Hell. And then we just started playing that on co-op for the entire night and got really scared of the suicide bears.
Oh yeah. And
I hadn't been that scared of a game since we all played Eternal Darkness.
oh fuck. I
That one
remember.
night.
Yeah. that one. I don't think any of us were ready for what that game was going to be, and then it just turned into what, like, especially I think the most scared I got during that game was when it made it look like it was deleting my memory card. I'm like,
Yeah.
no,
Playing it at 3 a.m. didn't help. Or maybe it did. I don't know.
no.
That's the correct experience.
I say when you're sleep deprived, no, it definitely did not help that. But yeah, Raise as Hell, I still remember it because 5 minutes in, when you knew you had stumbled onto something you were going to get far more than your $5 out of.
Yeah,
yeah.
when the game tutorial says, "Look to the heavens for help," there was no help there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the closest thing we could really get in Southern Indiana to political commentary.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that was just straight up an admonition of the Iraq War and evangelical Christianity too. And like, hey, normally we'd have to go for Comedy Central for our milk toast worldly opinions.
right? Like, you know.
And then it'd still blow over our heads because we're stuck in southern Indiana.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's not a whole lot going on in southern Indiana at any given time.
No,
you know?
no. It's just a slow decay. It's like what's going on in the graves.
Which is why you're surprised that people in Wendy's are getting mad at you at 2 a.m.
Yeah,
whenever you're in a town of like, 5,000 people roundabout, and there's no one else out. Like, I'm surprised you guys are open this late.
Yeah.
All the bars are on the other side of town. Your clientele has to drive to get to you. You're not helping.
Oh God, man! I was really jealous of everyone who lived within biking distance of your house because I had to arrange trips there until high school.
Like one of the few of us that couldn't just walk there if they wanted to.
Yeah,
right.
I was out in the backwoods.
I mean, the two closest it was Luke and Adam
Yeah,
by far.
Oh yeah.
a little triumvirate there.
Oh yeah. It was God. I mean, I'm thinking about all the games that I even got introduced to down the bit. Like my introduction to Final Fantasy came from Bo when he brought it over.
It's just people who bring you stuff
yeah.
and leave it there.
And then occasionally I would get something that we'd be like, "What the hell's this?" You know, and then it would take on a life of its own. Metal Gear Solid also introduced in that basement. I'm pretty sure. I keep going back to, in my mind, the thing that sat around and was the precursor to our big Halo get-togethers, the Mario Kart Double Dash weekend.
Oh, I remember that.
That was an insane weekend. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I went to work 2 or 3 times, full 7-hour shifts, came back, went back to work, slept, came back. You had not slept.
No.
They were playing Double Dash the whole time.
See,
I was going to, the whole time I'm at work, stocking shelves. Are they still playing Double Dash? Yes, they are. I knew it in my heart.
We got the Super Smash Brothers Ultimate on the Switch.
Yeah, it's the ultimate release weekend, but then by then we were 30 and dead.
See,
so
right. And that's the thing.
couldn't do it anymore.
I can remember Bo and I calculating that course out because we went late at night to Walmart, got Mario Kart Double Dash, came back. I'm pretty sure Bo and I were the only 2 people who never put the controller down.
Yeah, you guys played the entire time.
And it was at least 72 straight hours.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was the entire weekend.
Now, fast forward a few years later to when you hear news stories about people dying of stress-induced heart attacks from playing World of Warcraft for 50 hours straight, and you're like, oh, that's some chump shit compared to what we did. But you're just like, oh, God, no, that's not the lesson to take away from that. We could have fucking died.
Well, you got to have a co-pilot.
Right?
Someone to throw stuff at the other carts.
As long as you take bathroom breaks, it's not that bad.
Yeah. And that was the weirdest part because that's when Bo and I knew we were kind of in trouble, though. It was the 3rd time Mom came downstairs to say good morning.
Yeah.
That was when we both looked over at each other, just like, what? Okay, that's the 3rd time, right? Yeah. And they were just like, man, maybe we should play something else. And we switched to Midway Arcade Classics and fell asleep playing Smash TV. Yeah. The last thing I can honestly remember hearing was big money, big prizes. I love it. And then out.
Oh, man. I love that we just revert occasionally to our old arcade games.
Yeah.
Then they put us to sleep because that's what we need.
God, yeah.
Yep. So, I was also introduced to the survival horror genre, not so much in your first basement. Parasite Eve.
Yeah.
And Resident Evil.
Parasite Eve.
Yeah.
Yep. God, I remember that.
I remember when that was all really spooky. Of course, Parasite Eve was part anime, so of course
Oh, yeah.
it was triggering my Catholic bells.
Just remember, mitochondria is everything.
Yes. You're going to be hearing about that quite a bit throughout the course of this game.
Right.
I don't remember. Was that a rental for
think
that birthday party?
I think it was. I think we rented Parasite Eve, and then there was... I can't remember how far we got. I do remember fighting gators in the sewers.
Yeah, that wasn't very far.
No, that's like toward the beginning.
And then we kept getting killed by crows in Resident Evil, so I think we switched over to something else.
Well,
Yeah, I think we
until-
started playing a wrestling game.
until I got the bright idea to waste a grenade shot to kill all the crows, which turned out to be a terrible idea.
I mean, canonically, the guy, the squad marksman had a grenade launcher and was killed by crows, so it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, and I don't know why that was my weapon of choice for that. I think I just got pissed that we got killed by him so many times, so as soon as that one perched, I just blasted it, and it got like 4.
Oh, for the PlayStation 2, big thing for us was Vice City.
Yes.
God, yeah.
Only one of us had a copy, so we just took turns to switch on deaths.
I still have that copy.
I'm surprised it still works if it does.
Oh, it does. I actually popped it in not that long ago.
Yep.
But yeah.
Walk out of the hospital, run towards the military base, try to steal a helicopter.
Right?
Get shot, rinse, repeat, switch on deaths.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Figuring out you can keep the tanks at bay by just going back to his compound. Yep.
Oh, and there were some really interesting things we just found at the movie gallery, or whatever it was called before.
The generic video rental.
Generic video rental.
Right.
You know, the games were right next to the porn section. So
yeah. It was I guess maybe that's the attitude of people in town at the time. It's just like these video games are just as bad. Like, I don't know. But I definitely know there was a large section of people that would just look down on you for playing too many games.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
And by playing too many games, I mean you played one. You know,
Yeah, playing it all.
if you played for longer than 30 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, it's like having sex. You're not supposed to go that long. It's sinful. Yeah, I remember I found Mega Man Soccer
Oh my
that way.
God, yes.
Never actually found a way. I never found a copy anywhere else. I wanted to buy it. I don't know why I can't play it. But
I say now, my basement wasn't the Mega Man Time Warp.
no,
but
no,
yours
no.
was.
Mine was. Yeah, I was
Because I'm sure we played Mega Man X from start to finish, and all of a sudden the sun was coming up, and it does not take that long to play that game.
No, it takes like an hour.
Right. So I don't I don't know how that happened, but
It's there was well, we watched you play Legend of Zelda quite a bit, Ocarina of Time.
yeah.
Yeah.
I remember going through that. That was around the same time people used to give me their copy of the game for a night.
Just to be parts of it.
Yeah, just to be at like a temple.
I remember that. I remember walking into school first thing in the morning. It was rainy, and then like people were exchanging video games like drugs. Like, I need you to get me past the fire.
Yeah, people just like hand me a cartridge, just be like, "Hey, I'm on the Forest Temple. Can you help me?" I'm
I
like,
heard you know how to beat this.
"Yeah, like I got you." You know, just slightly just exchanging it under the table.
I don't know why I thought I was a nerd. I think back at all the illicit gaming that was being done in that in that town. Like,
Well, I think,
you're all hypocrites.
I think what really like cemented us into nerd status on that was the games we were playing,
That's true.
because a
That's
lot of
true.
people
That's fair.
like I'm pretty sure anybody who had an N64 back in the day played GoldenEye.
Oh yeah, yeah.
95% at least, right? On the other hand, I will say that not everybody played Mischief Makers.
That's yeah.
You know,
I-
right? Like, how many people remember the Mystical Ninja Star and Gomon? I mean, that one's probably a little better than Mischief Makers in terms of recognition, but we were taking a gamble on the weirdest
Yeah,
stuff.
we played all this stuff.
Oh,
yeah, and when you try to play it now, it's like, wow, this is weird.
right? Yeah, like the first time you pop in Katamari Damacy, and you're just like, okay,
I'm from the Midwest. I have no concept of what this is.
No.
This is not adhering to the heroic journey. This is just,
no.
what is this? I like it.
This guy's
I want more of it.
This guy's rolling up stuff into a ball, and it's delightfully fun, and his father speaks in record scratches.
You know what? Maybe.
What was the story of that game? I don't even remember.
The king of all cosmos accidentally destroys all the cosmos, and then he has to have you roll stuff up of a specific type of thing in each level that he will use to make constellations and the cosmos back.
Man, that's a cool Genesis story.
Yeah, like if you make what was it? Roll up a whole bunch of sea creatures and crabs, and we'll remake the Cancer constellation.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
And then we also played Turok 2 quite a bit.
oh god, yeah.
Never got really cheats really pulled us through that though. Like playing as the raptor,
Yeah.
making those.
Oh my
Yes.
god, yes. We can't forget Conquer.
That was such a good multiplayer game, but we never really had opportunity to play it all that much.
Yeah.
No. Gauntlet Legends was one we did a lot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we tried like back in 2012. We popped it back in for some nostalgia, and it died immediately.
It gave you that one level though, just to give you a taste.
Like I saw dust, like it just like breathed its last.
I have a working copy at my house still. Maybe we can relive. But yeah, it's ridiculous.
Playing as one or two mages and rock showering the first boss, so you can get a lot of experience and gold.
Right. And not only that, it practically kills him.
Yeah.
Like there's no point to have anything other than a mage who's not even doesn't even have his ultimate attack pile up. This is the one
rock
before the
shower.
ultimate. Yeah.
But yeah, I remember one of the big moments of the N64 era for me was figuring out that while Turok 2 has multiplayer, you can also trick the game into letting you have co-op mode by going into multiplayer versus and selecting stages, which will just be the stage
Oh, really?
with the enemies intact. You're supposed to be fighting, but you can also just help each other.
Yeah. Because Don picked the Raptor in multiplayer, and I transported us to a boss fight. And that
It was like the end of Jurassic Park.
it was, except he's just sitting there, and like you can just see the poor animation of him just going, just like slashing at it, and it just just kills him, no problem.
Just gets swatted away.
But it was still kind of like multiplayer rules, if I remember, because you like respawn, so
Yeah,
he just
I
keeps
just keep
sending you
just
in.
infinitely respawning raptor. With and of course, if you get shot in the face with an arrow, you could see the arrow in the screen,
Yep.
so you can blind someone. Oh, that was a fun game. And then there was also the basement away from the basement on ground level at the bowling alley.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Area 51 comes to mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that horrible when they were still trying to do like live action, but integrating it into the
Yeah,
game.
the real actors in the game.
Yeah, which I mean, some games did it fairly okay. Like I'm gonna throw some respect out to Mark Hamill for doing some of that in was it Wing Commander, wasn't it? I think he was in
that sounds
yeah.
right.
So yeah, some of them did okay. Then there's games like Ripper, where seeing Christopher Walken on weird GIF loops that don't quite add up is its own kind of charm, but it's terrible.
Yeah.
But then there's Area 51, and I think Don knows that better than all of us.
Yeah, I got that for the PlayStation, and it's not the same as the bowling alley with the light guns
No.
and like having like just co-oping the entire game on trying to keep it under $5 and failing.
Oh, yeah. We never could. They always had that cheap shotting alien that pop up. And,
Yeah, like it just
yeah.
pops up in your face and punches you, and then the screen breaks.
You've
and-
been winning too long. Here's an alien.
Yeah, which, like, you're in the middle of a hallway. There's no way this thing came
big
where you
alien
couldn't
just
see
walks
it.
up and sucker punches you.
Well, he comes up from the bottom, so he'd have to
Yeah.
be crawling or phase through the floor. There's no other way unless he came up behind you and you're just oblivious.
There's a vent right there he came out of.
But that means he'd have to come up behind you, duck, swing in front of you, then pop up.
He's got to have the scare factor, Cody.
I mean, yeah, no, I mean, like, I definitely appreciate it, but it's just like, as soon as you see him pop up, you're like, well, here's another fucking quarter. Like, you know.
Like all the pre 9/11 combat games
Oh,
where
yeah.
like where war was some distant thing. Like we played that awesome helicopter simulator where you kill everything with the helicopter and then land to rescue the POWs without incident.
Yep.
Maybe
I think
it might have been
so.
Chopper Attack. Yeah,
They had so many games like that, too, because some of those were
Yeah, like
You know-
help, thank you. And then 9/11 happened,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I remember in Cody's basement
Right.
that we were playing games differently. When the Iraq War happened, we had just gotten Command and Conquer Generals, and we
Yeah.
beat the Baghdad mission the day that Baghdad fell.
Yeah.
The day that Baghdad Bob was proven to be a liar.
Right.
That was just a surreal time.
Yeah. Oh God. Oh, Southern Indiana. Yeah, that, like we lived to every possible caricature,
Mhm.
and we're still there.
Yeah. I mean, it.
Oh God, the jokes that everyone was talking about, the nuke their ass and take their gas.
Oh, yeah.
Like people who tell you not to swear are just wearing that to church.
Yep.
Right. And yeah, at that point, from what I remember, it kind of switched from not a whole lot of Alan Jackson being played, but there was a ton of Toby Keith. Like we're kind of swinging toward that end of the spectrum around that time. And yeah, it's just like you said, people, wearing shirts that said the Eagle was pissed off, wearing those to church, and you're like,
Yeah, but then that just made us patriots by gaming.
right.
By playing Command and Conquer Generals. Of course, we always play terrorists. So
Right. Yeah. But
Or the Chinese. That was pretty
the
fun.
Chinese
too.
were fun.
right. But if you could blitz attack the GLA, then you were doing your part for America.
Man, I love your computer so much. It works just enough to get through it.
right.
Like, I miss those old box computers.
Mhm.
That's still in circulation.
Yeah.
My dad still has that.
It still works?
Yes.
Wow. There's probably an Empire Earth game I haven't finished on there.
That's
Oh my God. Empire Earth. That was one that also became a time sink for all of us.
yeah. We play like all those strategy games on there.
Pretty much,
Yeah.
yeah. I did not have a working computer until college, so yes, that was all your basement.
Then Morrowind and
Oh my God.
Yeah, I can fully remember when Morrowind was released on the Xbox that we lost track of Dawn
Yeah.
for a while.
I finally had
and-
something to keep me home.
And when I say lost track, though, it was not even that you were home necessarily. It's just you were on the other TV in the back
Yeah.
playing Morrowind while we were out there like doing something else sometimes. And then you would occasionally pop back out and be like, all right, I think I'm done for a little bit. What are we doing? Like,
It was probably Halo at that point.
yeah.
could have been Samurai Warriors.
Oh,
Oh, my. Yeah.
yeah. Samurai Warriors. That was another weekender.
That was a monther practically. Like that was
Yeah.
every weekend for a month because there was always something like, well, how do we do this? And this was, okay, well, let's get on GameFAQs. Let's get on IGN. People are slowly piecing this stuff together. Yeah.
And it's ironic because like my memory of pre-driver's license is pretty solid because it's just like those solid patches of weekends where I'm allowed to stay away from home for a while. But then I get the rusty red truck, and suddenly it all just kind of blends together a lot more.
Yep. Yeah, because you were one of the first of us to be able to drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that turned into.
And I drove one place and one place only.
That's right. God,
Man, what is it like for kids these days who never have to drive?
It is funny. There's lots of kids that don't even care about getting a driver's license.
Yeah, I mean the game is on your laptop and you can just download it, and you don't have to like camp outside GameStop because physical copies are for old people.
yeah. I say midnight releases definitely don't really matter like they used to. At least if you wanted to be first on the train there, like I
Yeah.
remember Halo 2.
Now you just have to be up at midnight to start the download so you can play it tomorrow when you wake up.
Right. That's
Oh yeah, there's something
Yeah.
new
Yeah,
pre-download.
they
now.
pre-download.
that's what happened with Dragon Quest 11. That's mine pre-downloaded, but it made me mad because I'm like, it's done. I want to play it.
Yeah, it's on my computer. Let me play it.
Yeah.
Halo 2, man, that was like a weird part of high school. Like you're growing up, Like, okay, I'm an adult now. Like, Halo 2's coming out. Oh, boy, I can't wait to go to Cody's basement. I'm going to get so much pop.
Right? Yeah.
We can't leave. We gotta
Right.
go through that thing.
Order a couple pizzas. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to...
Your dad was so tolerant of
Yeah, oh, God.
your mom and dad.
Okay.
10 kids
Hey,
Let's-
every weekend.
Cody's parents lived upstairs. We
I
lived
will-
downstairs.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. I can say
Separate but equal.
they were tolerant, but if you don't think that I didn't hear it for the rest of the week, every now and then,
Oh, we
just like
didn't.
the grumblings, yeah, they I definitely caught some flack for some of it, but
Well,
oh, exactly, yeah, they deserve all the credit for that.
Yeah.
It was a safe haven, and it was funny because their viewpoint was, well, if they're here, they're not doing anything stupid, and then I'm just like, well, if
Little
you,
did they know.
yeah,
Oh.
yeah, it's like if you walk downstairs, you'll figure it out pretty quick.
I distinctly remember coming over to your house once when you were banned from your basement.
Yeah,
but
that
I
was the
not.
funniest.
I was not.
Okay, let's re-examine this real
But
quick.
that wasn't your
because
fault. I remember that not being
That's
your
the
fault.
part. That's the bullshit.
I didn't
it
ever
wasn't
know
my
why you
fault.
were banned. I don't think.
Because built a blanket for it, and somebody used a container of bleach to hold down.
And it wasn't one of
One
the
of the-
regulars. It was some other person.
Yeah, so it was kind of funny in that respect because they're just like, "What's the bleach doing out?" I'm like,
Well,
you
fine,
s-
huh?
well, I'm just sitting there. I'm like, well, you see where it's sitting. Obviously, it's holding that in place, like and that was considered being too lippy, and then got fucking banned from my own basement.
So we were all playing video games while you were had to be upstairs.
Yeah, that was the funny part. You guys still came over, and and mom was like,
And she made us cookies.
Yeah, she did.
yeah, and mom was like, yeah, they can go down there. You can't. I'm like,
That's such a big part of the house.
right? Like you pretty much banned me from my room at that point.
Yeah, I don't really remember your room all that much.
Wasn't much to it.
No.
Hardwood floors, a bed, and then
Yeah, you did get a computer up there after a while. That was like the only time I ever saw your room.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty much what happened.
Uh,
Yeah, it was. That was the weirdest grounding I've ever gotten.
It was the funniest. It was so
Oh, it was hilarious to you guys.
yeah, and then then alcohol started finding its way into your basement.
Yeah,
And
Yeah,
then
it did.
the gaming didn't stop. It just changed.
yeah. Well, it was funny because I wasn't the one who introduced the alcohol.
Yeah,
It was really none of us.
No, that was the thing. It was like
I don't know how it got in there. It's like we're like gaming, and then like Al Capone shows up with barrels. Like, hey, we're just gonna take the pool table area.
Yeah, exactly.
Just
And-
leave this here. Don't touch it.
Yeah, it gradually turned into that, and even at that, it was one of those again where it's like we were being safe, we weren't going anywhere. Like it was kind of funny because it was my grandmother's house in Tell City was kind of that way when Schweitzer Fest rolled around.
Mm-hmm.
She would wake up, she would go downstairs and be like, okay, how many of my grandsons, or, my grandkids' friends are here? Not mine, because
Yeah.
we never did that. It was just
Right.
always, my house. But yeah, it would turn out like if I'd stay over at her house before Schweitzer Fest, like I did for the road race, I'd wake up and be like, all right, well, there's 6 people in their living room. I don't know any of them. And then I would just walk the 2 blocks down, get ready for the road race, and take off there. And she was used to that. So when it happened to me, my dad was like, it's not the way I ever did it. He's nerdy as hell. I wasn't. But I guess I understand. It was just different. But like my family grew to expect that.
We saw such a weird cross section of the youth of Tell City through that basement. Over
Oh,
the
yeah.
years.
Yeah.
I mean, there were some people who none of us really talked to.
Yeah, I don't know who
at
invited
school
them.
during the day that would just show up and they'd be
But
like,
it was
"Oh,
Cody's basement, you
Yeah.
hang out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, yeah, it was a pretty good time here, guys.
There's an open controller.
Yeah,
We're playing Double Dash.
right. Yeah, it's like pick up a control, and some of them would just be like, "No, I'm just gonna pick up a drink." I'm like, yeah, whatever. Like,
yeah, whatever.
We're here for the gaming. That somebody else brought this. I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we all went off to college. And we all went to different colleges. Well, not all of us, but
Yeah. I mean, still though, the weekends were back. There were a couple of
Oh yeah. It was right when we started college. I think the mudslide was made and deposited in your refrigerator.
and was at least there for well over a decade.
I mean, it still might be there for
It's
all we
still.
know.
I remember that when we graduated college, somebody drank it.
Did they?
They sipped it, I think.
Yeah.
But I remember that just being like something. I wonder if Cody's basement still has that mudslide, and it did. It was like a Eucharist for us.
I mean, yeah, it was the weirdest thing because I can definitely remember a few, like, Christmas breaks, summer breaks, where it was kind of like the old times again after that.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously the systems had changed, but I think the last time we really did anything proper like that was when you turned 30.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was
The
Mass
Cody's Basement reunion.
Mass
Yeah.
Effect Andromeda.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Just like, hey, I've got a game. Let's play it.
Right?
Had pizza. And there's some batteries for some reason.
Yeah, why did we need those
I
batteries?
don't know.
They didn't get used,
They
so
did-
we
they're
didn't
still
need
on
them.
that table, I
Oh,
think.
it was to watch the old movies.
That's right. We were watching the old because we were nerds and we
Yeah.
we were making YouTube before YouTube was a thing. Thank God.
yeah.
Right. I was going to say some of those should never see the light of day.
No, I think we burnt them.
And I would say, and if they do see the light of day, it's only for them to be buried or burned,
Yeah,
because you have to do it outside.
And if you do see them and it's us, it's not us. It's you're a liar.
It's a figment of your imagination.
It's fake news.
Oh yeah, I'm not.
The legend of chicken fingers lives on in our hearts, and that's all it needs to be.
That's right.
Yes. Where is that rubber chicken? It's
It's
been through some stuff.
it's seen some things, man.
That's why it's always screaming. Now, of course, there were competing basements. Tell City wasn't entirely an enclave of Cody and his army of nerds. It was there was a McMansion up
Yeah.
in Berglund Hills.
Oh, yes,
that we started
indeed.
to split our time because the other our secondary and tertiary group of friends started to spin off and solidify on this McMansion that just has a very liberal atmosphere, but very conservative politics.
Right.
Yeah.
That was weird, but it was actually a pretty good haven for gaming.
Yes, it was. There was another. They had McMansion level TV, which was good for Halo.
Yep.
They had very good quality steaks, and they never questioned where they went.
No.
I never made them. Like it was always some. There was always
yeah.
some other.
Well,
Yeah.
sometimes you'd bring them over and you just, you just look and be like, fry one of these up, and they just freaking do it. And
Like I don't know.
I never had the balls to go over there and request anything.
Yeah.
I didn't.
No,
eat.
you just take it.
Yeah. Well, no, that was the thing. Like, I didn't eat. Like, if they brought stuff down and be like, "You guys hungry?" I'd be like, "Yeah, sure, I'll take something." But I never took anything over there with the expectation that I was going to be fed or offered it. Like, I just didn't do it.
I usually brought Wendy's with me because I was such a slob.
Yeah, and that was. I mean, I guess that's part of my upbringing too, because I still don't do that anywhere.
And then somebody got into the cigar cabinet, and that was just never a big deal. There were just a bunch of kids smoking
Yeah,
cigars.
somehow.
Yeah, yeah,
We played airsoft in that house.
that's true.
That was the greatest thing I've ever done because it shouldn't have been done.
Yeah.
It should never have been allowed.
No.
I don't know if permission was never sought or granted, but punishment was never meted out. So I don't know what happened there.
At least not that we ever heard.
I walked in the door and somebody shot at me, and it was like the Old West at that point. Everyone had an airsoft gun. Because you never know.
That's true.
People were bringing those into the high school.
Yeah.
There were those little BBs were being found all over the auditorium
yeah.
during study hall periods.
I can remember I had one in my car because I think
This was post Columbine.
Oh, yeah.
yeah, because I think Spencer hung out of my sunroof one day and took shots at people,
It wouldn't surprise me.
and that was during class. We went out to do something, and he's just like, and we saw some people hanging out by the pool,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, well, all of us should technically still be at the school. And then Spencer was like, well, I'll give them a lesson they won't forget. Like just open your sunroof. All right.
Man, I miss like you got to bring the basement with you sometimes.
Yeah.
And, like sometimes we take it with us to the city pool,
Yeah.
which was for some reason a gathering spot where we did nothing, but there was no TVs. So usually that was just where we would go to find the person with the basement so we could bring them back to his basement.
Yeah. Or whenever we would pick up people, leave materials there for somebody to saran wrap their car.
Yes, that's true.
I do remember that one. Yeah.
I mean, it's the rite of passage. You get a car, you drive the car, you saran wrap other people's cars so only you can drive.
Yeah.
Or somehow you guys would pull a prank on somebody and it get blamed on me because they knew where everybody was going back to. Like, so you guys...
It's in
I
the
remember-
Constitution. The police can't enter a basement.
Yeah, well, I remember you guys at least soaped Adam's car one time and wrote like a list of things on it that were all things I
remember
liked
that.
at the time.
I don't remember that either.
So I got the phone call because I would leave that much incriminating evidence. Yeah. I do remember that one because, anytime you guys would leave comment cards at lunch.
Okay,
at a
I
restaurant,
remember that.
I do remember that.
You know how many bizarre answering machine messages that I got at my house that I had to explain away to my parents and just, like, why is Arby's calling us? I'm like, I was dissatisfied with the service. Like, I don't know.
It wasn't. I don't think it happened to you, but somebody else actually got like almost in trouble because there was a bomb threat.
I do know that, and it's
I think it
because
was Cravens.
Yeah, it
that
was.
somebody else. In our
because he wrote down his address on it. That was the worst part. Yeah.
Yeah, the things we had to do to entertain ourselves before the internet.
I mean, it was a small town. We had a movie theater, we had a bowling alley, and and the basement, or like you had that designated hangout spot that you would just go to keep yourself entertained. And in our case, it just so happened we were keeping ourselves entertained by keeping out of trouble,
Yeah.
For the most part, yeah.
or occasionally firing off a tennis ball mortar and having somebody write an editorial into the newspaper.
Did somebody write an editorial?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Complaining about people doing stupid like science experiments or whatever, and because we lit it off on the football field, I think one time.
Oh, I was.
Joe Schaefer Park, and we also lit the urinal on fire whenever they built the.
Okay. So there was some low grade arson at a urinal, but that was not me.
That's the thing. Like I remember being there, and I'm sitting there thinking like, why the hell is he gonna do this? And then all of a sudden the urinal goes up, and just as soon as it goes up, it's out. Like it just dies out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why did that happen? Like there was nothing.
Didn't even know about that one.
It was completely worthless. Yeah. Like
I'm sure I was there, but it's Tell City. If something happens in Tell City, you were there.
well, yeah, it didn't.
Like I just didn't see it.
It didn't even leave a scorch mark. Like the fire was precisely enough to see it go up. It's kind of like whenever you see somebody dump coffee creamer from McDonald's or whatever, like into a flame out of a thing, and it just poof, there and gone. Which I take it by the look on some of the faces that
No, I
you've
never
never
saw
seen
that.
that. Yeah, no, you can do it. Yep. Well, it was funny because we usually saved a lot of the explosive stuff, like fireworks. We're not,
for
making
4th of July, yeah.
Yeah, we're not making anything that's going to damage anything. Like, well, I mean, fireworks can damage stuff, but we were lighting those off at your house.
Yeah, because I live in nowhere where if there's a fire, there's nothing of value to lose except American flags. So
Yeah, and except for that one time, the mortar did tip over backward.
yeah. Well, that'll happen. And then there was the one time we blew up a watermelon, and my house was just like rained in red. It rained red on my house.
Yeah.
Then I think it might have been the first summer back from college where we got together all the fireworks we had not set off during high school, all the old ones that wouldn't work.
Yeah.
We just put them. I built a cardboard boat.
Viking funeral.
Yes, and we lit it on fire. None of them went off.
Yeah, not a single one.
The boat burned all night on the lake and never sank. I
was
went
gonna
out the
say,
next
that's-
morning.
yeah.
It was still floating. It burnt it burnt till the water line and kept going.
Yeah.
Mr. Cryoline would have been happy with that
Right.
boat.
You would have.
Diet Coke and Mentos rockets. You know,
Yeah.
leaving the lid slightly unscrewed and then taking it and slamming it on the ground.
Yeah, that's what we
with-
had to do before Kerbal's Basic program came out.
Right. So yeah, most people were just content to watch the fizzing geyser when we were turning them into projectiles.
Oh, projectiles is so much more fun.
Yeah, except we really should have taken into consideration we had no idea which way they were going to go.
I think we did. We just didn't care.
Right.
And then there was the gallon challenge that everyone was doing.
Yeah, that was something.
Dude, that messed me up for like 3 days afterward.
There was so much milk vomit on your
Yes.
lawn.
Oh god.
I'm surprised it didn't die.
I didn't puke. I came in at like 59:50. I made it within the hour.
Did you actually make it in an hour?
I think so. Or no, I was close. I was really close. Actually, I take that back. There wasn't a whole lot of milk left, but it did mess me up bad. Like,
Yeah, I never tried that. I was like, I'm
Me
going
either.
back into the basement where
Don
it's
and I were
safe.
smart enough just to be
Because-
spectators.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm going to go
I
play
have-
Halo downstairs.
because who was it? It was Thomas that started off.
Oh, yeah.
Drank
Yeah.
a half gallon in about 5 minutes.
Yeah, he decided to speed run the first part to see
Yeah,
if that would be.
Which was
And-
the worst idea because 10 minutes later he was out.
Yeah.
Then he shut down.
Because I just remember the blank look on his face,
Oh,
and he's sitting behind me. And I turn around, and all of a sudden, I just hear, "Oh shit!" Like, you know, everyone else is backing away, and I'm like, "What's going on?" And I see the jet stream go over my shoulders, and I look back.
Just milk. It's
And-
still
Yeah, it's
cold.
just pure white. Yeah, that's what he said.
Yes, it is, and it's Exorcist level. Like he could have pressure washed a house with how that, because it was shooting out of his
That's
nose
what they call
and
it,
mouth
whitewashing.
at the same time. And yeah, Adam's laughing. I'm trying to dodge it. I don't think he hit me. Like, that's how powerful the jet stream was. It did not spray off in any direction. It was straight shot.
Yeah, this is why you need video games.
Yes.
See?
Like, we
Yes.
tried to experiment with not doing video games.
And it
it
was all
didn't
bad
work.
ideas. It was
It
all
was
bad
all
ideas.
bad ideas.
Yeah, see, this is the best case scenario. This is the best argument for video games I might have heard. It's like, see all the dumb stuff we could have done?
Yeah, like, we tried
Did
to be
do.
adults, and being adults just leads to people doing stupid stuff that are self-destructive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So find a basement
Find a
and
basement.
take it with you wherever you go.
Find a basement. Bring back a LAN party if you can still do it.
Yeah, don't call someone some slur on the internet. Tell
Jesus.
it to their face, like a man or a woman.
Yeah, right.
Or whatever.
At least in that way, you earned that black eye. That's
Or the broken wrist.
yeah.
That was such a cool
I
kid, though.
I don't think that one was earned so much. I mean, it was definitely
just
an
like-
accident.
Yeah, that was an
Yeah,
accident.
it was completely accidental.
We were
Yeah.
playing Rubber Band War.
I can definitely tell you that was the only time anybody got a bone broken at one of my birthdays.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which not many people could say that.
which is
I guess.
surprising because one time we were in the gym, we were doing some stupid stuff.
Yeah. But yeah,
And we went back to the basement and everything was right with the world.
because
Yep.
the rubber band war somehow turned into fisticuffs between two people, or at least there was a hit that was gonna land before somebody blocked it with their foot, and that's how the broken arm happened. As far as I know, I only caught the aftermath.
Yeah, I think I was arms dealing at the time.
Arms too.
I was collecting.
was.
I was collecting the spent rubber bands and distributing them back to keep the war going. Guns of the Patriots.
God, I felt so awful after that, though. I hated it.
Yeah, it kind of put a damper on the night. That was the same night as you fed me soup
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
and people playing with the ab dolly.
because
Yeah,
that.
the abdomen.
Okay, I remember you falling asleep on exercise equipment one time,
The Bowflex, yes,
and you also fell asleep on the stairs.
yes, multiple occasions,
Yeah,
and I was never drunk.
No,
not once.
a single time.
that's the impressive part. Like, people do that whenever they don't care wherever they sleep. You did it out of choice.
Yeah,
Like, yeah.
which is why I have such great posture now.
Yes. So to all of Don's chiropractors and whatever after this, you're welcome.
Anyway, you know what? We didn't talk just about video games. We talked about what video games are, and it's a social. It's a social activity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Healthy, and it keeps you from doing low grade misdemeanors and maybe felonies.
Right. So yeah, I mean, that was our version of staying out of trouble, but it was with a great group.
I mean,
Everybody who cycled in and out of there was great.
Yeah.
yeah. And as long as we were in the basement, we were relatively safe.
Oh,
Only
yeah.
one injury. Only one.
Yeah. So well, see, and that was non-video game related. If we just had
Yeah.
controllers in our
Yeah.
hands,
You
none
know,
of
if
that
we
stuff
had been
would ever
shooting
happen.
at each other with real digital guns instead of fake rubber band guns, all would have been right with the world. The
We-
problem was we didn't have enough controllers or TVs at the time.
Yeah.
And we remedied that.
That's right.
I mean, it's like what we could have done with climate change. We recognized the problem and we solved it.
There you go. And yeah, that's a good tie. That's right there.
Yep.
I gotta say,
You heard it here,
You know,
folks.
it's just like video games, good.
right?
Violence, bad.
Video games. Video games are good for your youth.
Yes. And if you want to stay young, keep playing video games.
Of course, by that same measure, I don't endorse letting like a 3-year-old play Resident Evil or anything. I'm just saying, like,
I mean, I was,
keep it appropriate for the age.
I was
But
at least 9.
right? Of course, we also grew up enough around guns to realize, that can do some damage.
Yeah, I mean, that we could talk about hunting accidents all day. Well, accidents.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
It's not. It's just happy. It's just happy. It's surprise. Like, oh, yeah. Falling out of tree stands.
Yeah.
Falling.
Right. I knew a lot of people who
Finding a
had that.
meth cook operation right outside the elementary school.
Yep.
Mm.
Or
They
this
had a
storage.
they had a sofa dug into a cave. That was such a cool. I thought like I saw that like, man, these campers, they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they're making it economical too. Well, anyway, that's Southern Indiana. That's gaming in Southern Indiana. Cody, we're really glad to have you, and we're really glad to be back. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Been busy.
Yeah. I enjoyed reminiscing about those good old days.
Yeah, there's not too many of those left in front of us, so
Yeah.
keep it coming.
God.
Anyway, have a nice day, night, cycle, whatever.